In a minute, I'm gonna need a lawyer to defend me because I messed things up. AOA podcast back for another episode. How is everybody? We've got lots to discuss, including the amount of evidence that was handed over in the Gilgo Beach murders case is insane. I don't know if it's the most in like human history, but it seems like a lot. It seems like an awful lot. Lizzo's lawsuit is shocking. She was sued by former dancers of hers. You won't believe what they're alleging. It's kind of crazy. Do we have Tom Cruise's next girlfriend? You might be shocked. If you saw the thumbnail for this episode, you might already know. But I was angered when I learned who Tom Cruise's next girlfriend might be. Plus, Sharon Osborne is talking about being on Ozempic, the China Zoo Bear controversy, and how the UK is coming to their defense. Justin Trudeau and his wife are splitting. And finally, happy birthday to the one and only JSabs. She is 39 today. See what I did there? It's not 39. Either way, we love JSabs. We wish her a happy birthday. If you've ever been entertained by JSabs, I hope you'll drop a comment, shout out in the tweets, the emails, the Instagram stories, however you do it. She would love to see it. Make sure you give her a big happy birthday on this big day for JSabs. All right, the Gilgo Beach case is ongoing. They've been doing their little things, court appearances, all that kind of stuff. Today, they were in court and the prosecutors handed over evidence to the defense, and they handed over a hard drive with 8 terabytes of information on it. 8 terabytes. Dear Lord. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it because it's a 13-year case and you look at how much they've combed over that house. They were there for like a week and a half or something crazy like that. But for the love of all things that are made of sponge cake, 8 terabytes of evidence. I mean, I would quit. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, clearly. I'm a podcaster. But if anybody handed me 8 terabytes, if you handed me, I'm trying to think of if you handed me 8 terabytes of cinematic and beautifully shot Oreo cookie cakes, I would give it back to you. I'd be like, this is too much. I cannot handle 8 terabytes of something I love, let alone 8 terabytes of something that I have to read over and just like continue. Like, I mean, you have to really believe this guy didn't do it in order to be like, yeah, give me the 8 terabytes. We're going to read it. Don't you worry, Rex. Don't you worry. We're going to get you out of this. We got the 8 terabytes. We're going to take the weekend. We're going to peruse it. We're going to see what we could do. We're going to get you out of this, young man. You don't have nothing to worry about. You're coming home with us, big dog. I mean, listen, I've known Frank since the 4th grade. And I would do damn near anything for him. And we found out today what I wouldn't do. And that's read 8 terabytes worth of information to keep him out of jail. If somebody handed me 8 terabytes of evidence and said, here you go. If you really think Frank didn't do it, you'll find the information in here. I'd be like, nah. I would say this. I go, maybe if we were 25 and he had his whole life ahead of him, but we're 40 at this point. Ain't nothing Frank's going to do from here on out that's going to amaze anybody. Let's be honest. Me either. Don't think I'm shitting on Frank. Me either. I'm just saying, 8 terabytes for the love of God. I mean, I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. If you said to me, the David Chase, the creator of The Sopranos, has written what happens to Tony Soprano after the screen goes black, and it's 8 terabytes worth of script. Here you go, read it, Aunt. I would be like, fuck it. I'll just make it up on my. I'll use my own imagination to decide what happened to Tony Soprano. I don't need to read this. If you had, honestly, like I can't 8 terabytes. I mean, who collected that evidence? Erin? Joking. She did write a 500-page book. That is impressive. 8 terabytes of information. I can't even. I mean, again, I know he was an architect, and I know he lived in Massapequa Park, which is an affluent area, but he had the worst house in that area, and he's a creeper. So my point is how much money could he have? Because the only thing that could possibly motivate me to read all that information is money. And if I'm that lawyer, I'm thinking like it's time to carve out a kidney. It's time to put a kidney on the black market, sell it, see what we can get, because that's the kind of money I'm going to need to go ahead and go through 8 terabytes of information. I just don't see it. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't believe that this guy didn't friggin' do it. Just by the look of him. I mean, if I were the prosecutors, I would be like, Your Honor, just look at this guy. I mean, you really think he didn't kill anybody? Yeah. I'd go to the jury. Look, just look. Do you need to see the DNA evidence? I know if I was on that jury, I'd be like, nope, I don't. Guilty. Absolutely guilty. Suffolk DA Raymond Tierney told reporters outside the courthouse this is a 13-year case. So as you see, we have a great deal of information, evidence, photographs, and reports to provide the defense counsel. My Lord. I would quit. I mean, I would have quit once I saw Rex Heuermann to begin with, but this would have definitely made me quit. So lots of luck to them in that whole case. By the way, still don't know if they've tied it up to the 4th body. Still 3 victims as of right now. And no more word on if James Burke was involved, but don't you worry about it. The AOA team of investigators has their eye on this case, and we are not going to let it go until it comes to a conclusion. Something that we're going to keep an eye on and keep updating you on. Lizzo, the Lizzo lawsuit. Let me start by saying I'm a massive Lizzo fan. I mean, massive. I love this girl from the moment she dropped her first record. Back in your old pal Ant's music DJ days on radio, I was really in tune with new music. So I was always on top of like who I was on this like list where they would send me music first before it even came out even. And so I was, even after I left the station where I had to kind of do all that stuff on, I was still on that list and still just kind of like on top of like all the new music. And I have loved Lizzo from the first second she dropped the record. I can't even remember what year it was. But then I saw her do the NPR has this great segment called Tiny Desk Concerts. And she went on there where they literally like invite you to their office and they stick you in the corner by a tiny desk and they just record a performance. It's a really great series. It's one of the great things that NPR does. And I saw her play the flute on there. And I was like, I will be a fan of this woman forever. Like just absolutely forever. I just love everything about her. She's big. She's got a massive amount of talent and she plays the flute. I mean, there's nothing in that I don't love being your old pal Ant. But this was surprising. This kind of made me go, hold on a second. Lizzo's former dancers say that she forced them to eat. Let me also say this. You go through life, and for me, it's been just about 40 years. And you think you've seen and heard it all. And you also think being in radio, and I started in radio in college during the shock jock days when everybody was trying to do the most shocking things ever. And I did a lot of stupid things back then. And then, I mean, it's been an insane 20 some odd year career in radio and entertainment. I've done a lot of stupid things. I've read a lot of people who've done stupid things. I've never thought of this. What Lizzo is being sued for has never occurred to me. I didn't think it was a thing. I wasn't even sure people could be creative enough to do this, but her dancers are accusing her, Lizzo, of forcing them to eat bananas out of the hoo-ha of sex workers. Granted, not to defend her, it was in Amsterdam. And I say that because if it was in Vermont, wouldn't you be that much more shocked? Like if I said it's in Amsterdam, you're like, oh, that's kind of, Amsterdam. But if I was like in Vermont, you would be like, holy shit, in Vermont? What the fuck? I mean, if I was like, it happened in Vegas, you're like, all right, some crazy shit happens in Vegas. I fucking get it. But Vermont is a little less it's a little bit more surprising. Amsterdam is a little less surprising, but surprising nonetheless. Like when I read this, I go, I didn't even know you could do that. Like I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. Like I didn't even know you could be like, can I pay you money? And could you put this banana? Yeah. And then let her eat it out of it. Like it just never eat. It doesn't. Nothing computes. Nothing computes. To me, this is what it must felt like if you were living next door to the Wright brothers and they were like, no, the plane, we built it and it's got wing and it's going to go right. You'd be like, what? Are you crazy? You're going to die. Now I know I know what it's like to be the Wright brothers' neighbor. Now I know what it feels like. You know? I love watching. Oh my God, I'm such an old white man. It's disgusting. It's disgusting how old of a white man I am. I just can't get enough history. And I'm watching the John Adams miniseries on HBO again. And there's this amazing scene where they gather in Paris or you're somewhere in Europe. Who gives a shit? And it's the first air balloon going up and they're heating it. And John Adams is sitting there. John Adams, the guy who, again, forefather, independence, did the whole thing, genius, brilliant, all that. He's looking at the hot air balloon and he goes, this is bullshit. It's never going to go off the ground. And then it goes off the ground and he's just like befuddled. That is how I felt when I read the story of Lizzo forcing dancers to eat bananas out of amazing. Absolutely amazing. Didn't even know it could exist. Didn't even know something like that was possible. Plaintiffs Ariana Davis and Crystal Williams claim in the lawsuits filed Tuesday, obtained by Page Six, that they were eventually fired while the third plaintiff, Noel Rodriguez, resigned over Lizzo's stunning behavior. While on a concert trip in Germany, the Grammy Award-winning artist went to Amsterdam in February 2023. The plaintiffs claim Lizzo invited them out for a night on the town, which ended in the city's red light district. The area is known for its sex theaters, obviously, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Lawsuit states things quickly got out of hand. Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching apparatuses, self-loving devices launched from the performers, and then also eating the bananas. The suit also claims that Lizzo allegedly pressured and goaded Davis into touching one nude performer's hooties. The plaintiffs claim that just a month later, Lizzo deceived them once again in attending a nude show, thereby robbing them of the choice not to participate, the documents state. Davis also claimed in the lawsuit that at one point she had no choice but to soil herself on stage during an excruciating re-audition, fearing the repercussions of excusing herself to go to the restroom. Eventually, Lizzo allegedly fired Davis on the spot after learning Davis had recorded one of her meetings, even though it was in order to have a copy of the notes. Rodriguez resigned shortly after out of solidarity with Davis and the disrespect Lizzo allegedly showed her. The lawsuit claims that she feared Lizzo, intended to hit her, and would have done so if the other dancers had not intervened. I am a little surprised. And again, I feel like I can't give an unbiased opinion here because I love Lizzo. I'm a huge fan. I just can't see her getting that angry and mad. Also, this feels like male behavior. And when a female is accused of doing something like this, I am sorry, but I have a hard time believing it. Not saying that it's not true. It could absolutely be true, but I have a hard time envisioning it. If you're telling me that this was like a male performer, I would be like, yeah, sounds like what a piece of shit would do. But a female, I don't know, especially like Lizzo, somebody who's so talented. I just hold these people in high regard. And I'm fully admitting that I'm absolutely at fault for that. I could be totally wrong. She could be this kind of a person. You know, she really could be. The other thing too is when you have a struggling artist or somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, and then all of a sudden they have a shit ton of money, they do crazy things. You know, they do like nutty, insane things. We all do it. I went on a run in Atlantic City one weekend and I got myself one of those like 4-foot tall milkshakes, drank almost half of it, spent the whole next day just shitting myself, absolutely pooping all over the place. Couldn't hold in a poop. I was on lactose intolerant and I refused to believe it. But I was like, hey, I got $600 in my pocket. That's a $90 Sunday. I'm going to fuck it. So I get it. Things get crazy when you got a little extra scratch in your old pocket. But the Sunday did not have a banana on it. I just don't know why I feel the need to put that out there, but feel the need to put that out there. I am going to read every single comment on this episode, both live and from our replay crew. Love you. On whether or not you think Lizzo really did this, because I would love to know your thoughts. Again, I feel like if you're not like a fan, you could come at it from an unbiased angle, but I have a hard time believing she would do this. Also, there might be video out there that could prove it pretty quickly, so we'll wait and see. Tom Cruise. Okay, this is more tabloidy rumors, sources telling Radar Online kind of bullshit, but it's not unplausible. But the story is, according to some sources, people in the know, people close to those who are close to people in the know, whatever they were saying these days, from the Mirror, that Tom Cruise has set his eyes on Sofia Vergara, which is very upsetting for me because I was kind of hoping that in a weird way, on her way to the Hamptons, her car would break down relatively close to my house. We would have a meet cute moment. We'd bunk our heads as I was trying to fix her tires. We'd fall in love. I'd bring her home. Cuddles would be like, oh, you know what? We do need to be married to Sofia Vergara. Let's do it all together. And we'd have a nice little throuple with a little extra scratch. And then guess what? All of a sudden, the kids can go to Harvard. Don't think that I'm doing it just for me and sexual fantasies. I also know that Sofia has what it takes to get my children into Harvard. And if you've ever met my children, they're going to need all the help that they can get because they are not too smart, not ready for Harvard. But Sofia, I think, can hire enough tutors to get them there and pay for it all eventually. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why the fantasies of fixing Sofia Vergara's tire on the way to the Hamptons occur in my head. It's not me. I'm not being selfish. I want my kids to have a better life. Anyway, and I can compete with Tom Cruise. I don't know if you know this, but I don't do my own stunts. As dangerous as I get is, when I decide to do a podcast outside. If you watch the last episode, that was the biggest stunt I've ever done in my life, is go like this. What if I put the microphone and camera outside? What would happen? Because it might rain. That was the most dangerous stunt I've ever did. Tom Cruise drove a motorcycle at 90 miles an hour off a massive cliff and just let it go. Just let it go. Just was hoping that a parachute would open. So, him and I, thin, godlike, and handsome Italian, lactose intolerant, and not as wealthy. So there's some differences there. I can't compete with Tom Cruise. He saved the movie industry twice. Once with Top Gun Maverick and once with fucking Mission Impossible. I respect that. Victoria, Aunt, you're killing me. I'm glad I'm doing something because I'm not doing what Tom Cruise is doing. That's for damn sure. Tom Cruise is killing it out there. Could you imagine being so famous? Because this is how this shit happens. I want you to know, just because they're celebrities, they're not above high school bullshit. You know what I mean? They're just not. They're not past, hey, who's the newspaper person, Tell them, wouldn't it be, wouldn't it be interesting if I dated Sofia Vergara? I have more to this, by the way. And then they call up the Mirror and they go, somebody overheard Tom Cruise talking about Sofia Vergara. What if they're going to be the next? And then they put the fucking article out, and then everybody tweets about it. And Sofia Vergara's like, "Oh, isn't that funny and interesting?" And they run into each other, at the gas station on the way to the Hamptons, and then he fixes her tire. And then she's like, "Oh, I remember reading all those crazy things. Isn't that funny? Let's go get a cocktail." And that's it. And that's how your old pal Aunt has no shot. Little known fact. Tom Cruise dated Sofia Vergara back in 2005, very, very briefly. In fact, they weren't even rumored to be dating. They were just seen once or twice in Beverly Hills. And that was just before he hooked up with Katie Holmes and then jumped over Oprah's couch and was declared a nutball by everybody who saw him in the whole Scientology thing. So just before all that craziness happened, he went out with Sofia Vergara a couple of times, who back in 2005 was a celebrity, but nowhere near the status she is now, having gone through Modern Family and then the subsequent films and other things that she's done since then. She's far bigger now in 2023 than she was in 2005. So this could be the next big super couple. This could be the next Benefer. Tom Cruise and Sofia Vergara. Tofia. Cruz Gara. Veracruz. So Cruz. I don't know. Somebody will come up with something snappy. Clearly, I couldn't. But that's that. Tom Cruise, as if he didn't have enough in this world, now is going to get Sofia Vergara. I hope she doesn't go out with him. But let's be honest. Definitely an improvement over that Joe. I don't even remember his name. Who gives a shit about that guy, right? Never liked him. Manga not going to date Sofia anymore. Sharon Osborne on Ozempic. Your old pal Ann has become obsessed with Ozempic. I hear a lot of things. I had a couple of people tell me, like, it's really good for you. It's like a game changer. And then somebody told me, like, no, it does some pretty terrible things to you. And then I'm kind of like in this world. Now I'm interested. Like, if we can't find a consensus, now I want to kind of like see what's going on. And Sharon Osborne reveals that there are some sickening side effects when it comes to Ozempic that are, quote, gruesome. And she says, you change, she was on Bill Maher's podcast and she said, quote, it's different for everybody. But for me, the first few weeks was fucking shit because you just throw up all the time. You feel so nauseous. After a couple of weeks, it goes. And then you're just fine. You feel nothing, just not hungry. Ozempic, of course, the type 2 diabetes treatment. But in recent months, it has exploded in popularity as a weight loss tool. I would say more than in recent months, probably last year or so. She didn't specifically say that she was taking Ozempic. She said that she had used the fucking injection that everybody takes, which Maher jokingly called the Olympic. So there you go. Another person who's got a little bit more to contribute to the whole Ozempic thing. I just don't know. I mean, listen, we all want to take a miracle drug, right? To get us, back into shape. But I have a hard time believing that it exists. This is the closest thing that I've been like, oh, okay. Because I know somebody who went to a doctor and the doctor was like, it's fine to take. You can take it. And they were like, okay. And then that was it. And then I started hearing some of these horror stories, and now you hear a whole bunch of horror stories, and now I just don't know, and it also could be like the kind of thing where it's like, it's pretty good for the most part, and that's why it got approved. But, once you start, when you go from this many people taking it to this many people taking it, you're going to start to see a lot more different reactions. You're going to start to learn a lot more, Paige, my sister and her husband are both now taking Ozempic. More and more, I hear a lot of people say that they know somebody who's taking Ozempic or they're taking Ozempic themselves. Yeah, more and more. It just feels like it's our, I don't know, drug du jour. I don't know if we had a lot more like this, but I feel like there's been times where drugs are kind of like, medicines, whatever, are casually taken, and then they become like this popular thing. And Ozempic feels like this is the drug of our time right now. This is what everybody is going to be into. A lot of the times it's like weight loss stuff, but it always winds up backfiring. That's the thing. Like, even something like this, you got to look at it and go, I don't know if I would take Ozempic. I've definitely thought about it. I've talked about it before. Like, I've definitely thought about it, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, I don't know. I feel like you got to give that shit 5 years to run its course and see what's what. You really got to kind of just wait and see, like, what could be happening here? How bad could this be? You just got to give it some time. Paige also, I heard this too. Once you stop taking it, the weight comes right back. It rebounds. It is a bitch that we've not found a quick fix to this fucking weight loss thing, but it's the truth. You know, even if you diet and you exercise, you got to keep that shit up. It's a lifestyle. You know, it really is a lifestyle. There's no two ways around it. I know there's some of these quick fixes, and it looks like this might be the best quick fix of all. But it's still kind of like somebody told me that it just weakens your bone density, and that terrifies me. You know, because shit, side effects like that, the kind of side effects that like you can start the damage now, but you won't feel it until 20 years later, fucking terrifies me. That's why I don't smoke. You know, honestly, that idea of like I'm just gonna have all these complications a lot more later in life and it'll be all fucked up. No, thank you. Not interested. Not interested at all. Ozempic won't tighten all that leftover loose skin. Yeah, that's true. I saw a dude the other day and he had that he had like just lost massive amounts of weight and he was just all fucking loose hanging skin. And I was like, what a bitch. What a bitch. You do all that hard work. And you're like, I'm gonna take my shirt off at the beach one day. And then you just like still can't take your shirt off at the beach and be proud of it. That sucks. That fucking sucks. Most people I know though who go through that say they get surgery. They get surgery to remove all that loose skin. I think that's the only way to really do it. You know. Hey, would you blow me with some advice here? Which I like getting medical advice from. Hey, would you blow me? Fat cells don't go away; they swell and shrink. But unless you lipo, fat cells will always be there. I like this from Paul too. Ozempic has a microchip in it. Yeah. Yeah, it does. All right. That's the Sharon Osborne Ozempic thing. It makes you throw up. And that's the other thing, too. Is it really worth it? I mean, it sucks going to the gym. Believe me, it blows. But at least you're not like risking your life. I don't know. It's something about life preservation. The older I get, I want to stay alive more. It's kind of weird, isn't it? When you're young, you're like, yeah, fuck it. I'll jump off that thing with everybody. You're fucking hammered as all hell. You're like, we should jump off the top of that. And you're like, hell yeah. And now you're kind of like, oh, I can't take that shot. It could be problems. It could be issues 25 years later in life. What is that? Self-preservation. Yuck. But I got it. It's true. I hate that I have it, but I got it. That's why I never was Tom Cruise. That's why I never made it as a movie star. It has nothing to do with the face. Anyway, this China bear standing waving controversy. I'm sure you've seen the video by now, right? There's this zoo in China. This fucking bear is standing on two hands, waving at people, and everybody's like, "Look at these bastards!" And they dressed up a guy in a frickin' bear suit, and that's what I paid all this money for. You know, total bullshit. Everybody's ready to charge China. We all forgave China for the pandemic, but we're like, this shit will not stand. How dare you try and pass off a fake bear to us? Well, it turns out today that a zoo over in the UK published the same exact video. They have another bear that does the same shit. And experts are saying that is a real bear at the Hangzhou Zoo in China. Hangzhou Zoo. Great name. That's a great name. Managers of Paradise Wildlife Park in Hertfordshire, England. Not a good name. Not a good name. English, need to learn from my Chinese friends. I had to name some shit. Make it rhyme a little bit. It always helps. Hertfordshire sucks. Anyway, over there, Paradise Wildlife Park in Hertfordshire, England, they've come out in support of the Chinese zoo, saying that the sun bears often display mannerisms that make them look like they're humans in disguise. That's true. I once saw a bear like this take cocaine, film an entire movie. Now, I didn't watch the whole movie, but I saw the trailer, and it was pretty convincing. It was pretty convincing. In order to support its claim, the park posted some adorable footage of one of their own bears standing on his hind legs doing the same thing. See? So we all overreacted. Let's get off China's back. They got real bears. Everything is real over there. It's all legit. It's fine. Everybody calm down. Take it easy on the Bears. This was upsetting. You ever find yourself getting upset over something that you really don't give a shit about? Is that also a weird? I think I'm going through menopause because I'm very emotional this week. Justin Trudeau and his wife have split. They made the announcement earlier today. They've signed some documents. It's a legal separation. They're going their separate ways. They're like high school sweethearts. I wouldn't throw Justin Trudeau a fucking, floaty if he was drowning. I just don't give a shit. I mean, I like the guy because he runs the country that invented hockey. That's really, he ain't my president or prime minister or whatever the fuck. Prime minister's Canadian, by the way, for president. If those you guys don't speak Canadian that are listening or watching, I'm here to translate for you. Don't worry, I got you covered. But yeah, I don't know what it was. I started reading this article and I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad. 51 years old. She's 48. They first met as children in Montreal. They were just adorable little children. They got 3 kids and Splitsville, which makes me think, I mean, stuff like this kind of fascinates me because it's like, not that like having money solves everything, but having money, running a country, personal security, private planes, should that help? Shouldn't that help a little? I mean, I guess people just have their problems, but I don't know. I feel like what do most divorced couples fight over? Money problems. Okay, that's not an issue there. There's no time because they're always working. Like I said, it's money problems. Boy, the kids or the families or whatever the case is. I would think that running a country would alleviate a lot of those issues. And you're frying and you're frying food all the time and you're flying private. I mean, what is better than not having to show up this guy doesn't have to carry a passport. He doesn't have to go through security lines. Nobody's frisking him at TSA. What are they arguing about? What do they have a fight about? What do you want for dinner tonight? Think of all the things you hate about your husband or wife, right? They never pick a dinner. They never, wait, what do you want to eat tonight? I don't know, whatever our private chef is making, it'll be fun. What do they argue about? I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, it's got to be like okay, you don't have, privacy. All right. Little privacy taken down a notch. Okay. I get that. I understand. But I mean, you got to kind of be like, well, guy's the leader of Canada. All right. So he's got to go off and, do a bunch of presidential shit every now and then. Maybe he has a little less time, but still, it's kind of, think of all the time you're saving by not going through TSA. I mean, I don't have one of those pre-check things, but everybody who has one just will not shut up about how great it is. He's saving 45 minutes. Every time he works a little extra late, that's another 45 minutes he saved going through the whole TSA thing. It balances out. It balances out. I'm just saying, if I was the Trudeau's marriage counselor, I think I'd have kept them together. I'm not saying whoever was their counselor did a shitty job. I'm just saying I would have done a better one. I'm just saying I would have done a far better one. I would have kept them Trudeau's together for the long haul. I mean, together since they were children in Montreal. They got 3 kids of their own, and now they're going Splitsville. Very sad and disappointing. Very, very sad and disappointing. It's often, again, it's one of those great mysteries to me, the divorce. It really is. Now, look, I know people get into bad relationships. You get into relationships with people who are abusive, totally divorce, understandable. You get into relationships, but when you get into a relationship with somebody who's like selfish or, doesn't understand how a marriage works, that it's give and take. And some days you're picking up and carrying more of the weight. Other days your partner's going to be there doing that for you. Like those important things of what makes a marriage work. It's very hard to come by and find that right mix. And, and it's not always, the thing with marriage, I find it's not always even. It's not always there. Like, some days Cuddles, picks up the whole load and just plows forward. And some days I do. And some days it's like, oh, she's really doing a lot more than me, and some days it is the reverse, a lot less, but some more so her carrying things than me. But still, that's not the point. The point is, you make it work, right? You figure out how to get to the next day, the next month, and the next year. And you find your little joys in those beautiful little moments that you share together, like the touching of a back when you walk into a room, or, the kiss goodnight or the kiss good morning, leaving that extra piece of meat so your husband can eat it, leaving that crust on the pizza so your wife can eat it. You find those beautiful little things to keep each other happy. Maybe it's because I haven't been there or haven't gotten there yet, with Cuddles. God forbid, I hope it's not yet. But, where that kind of stuff just runs down and people have no more choice. But I don't know, like the amount of people that you talk to that go to a counselor and it just doesn't work out. I am surprised, and I would love to get everybody's impression on that. Like, because when you go to a counselor, it's just like going to a doctor. You go there, you expect them to fix whatever it is. You expect them to be able to figure it out. Sometimes it just doesn't. Listen, I've seen couples, and I'm not going to get into who, but you see couples where like one of them is just a real dick and an idiot and a piece of shit. And you're like, yeah, you should leave that person. I get it. There's nothing you could do. Like beating a dead horse. People, you can't get closer. Family members of mine that have split. And like, I was devastated at the time. And now it's been like 8-10 years. And you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. There was only like nothing was going to save this because you literally can't change this person, So like I totally understand it now. But I still have a hard time with even that, because when you look at a person, they just can't change. It still bugs me that they can't change. Like you got to say to yourself, all right, I have to change. I have to adapt and evolve and, figure it out. And, that happens. By the way, that's a challenge with marriage, because the person that you marry is not the person that you're married to 20 years later, 30 years, 40 years later. Things change and evolve, I should be giving out marriage advice. I mean, we're only, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's not a long time in. It's 8 years, I know. But like Cuddles and I's marriage changed with kids. We have to approach things far differently now. Like before kids, we were free. We were far wealthier. We were happier. Now it's kind of like we've been attacked by an enemy, and we better stick together or else we're not going to make it. And we just talk about the old days. Like those war movies when we're like, yeah, back in Brooklyn when we used to get hot dogs. I can't wait to go back there and get a big old Frankfurter with mustard on it. That's what we talk about now. That's us. Cuddles and I in bed is the fucking group of soldiers who are taking a break on the side of the road, talking about what they're going to do when the war's over. We're like, yeah, we're going to just, we're going to snuggle. We're gonna nap in the middle of the day. We're gonna enjoy a walk on the beach at sunset without having to be like, stop that, put that down, don't hit your sister, that kind of shit. Anyway, I feel like this is naive and talking, but you look at like a couple like Trudeau and 3 beautiful kids. The guy's a leader. I understand there's more responsibility and less privacy, but you look at it and you go, how does that not work? What are we missing here? How do they not make it through? I just don't know. But maybe one of them is a huge piece of shit. Who knows? Trudeau did go blackface once. We've never forgotten that. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if that's what the wife is hung up on. happy birthdays to JSabs. This is her actual birthday. I believe we'll be celebrating for the rest of August, same way she made us do last year. I remember last year, JSabs goes, I'm mad at you that you didn't say, you didn't wish me a happy birthday. And I go, but I did it the last 6 days in a row. I didn't realize I had to do it for the full week. She goes, no, the full week, motherfucker. She goes, the full week. And now it's 2 weeks because you've missed a day. So I was in the doghouse. I was in JSab's doghouse last year. It was rough. It was a tough one, I think we gave out somebody's asking, Lisa's asking for JSab's Instagram. I think we gave it out once. I don't know. I'll ask her if we can give it out again. But she does read all the comments. I did see her pop into the live chat moments ago. So appreciate. Oh, there she is. She's still here. Don't know if you want to give out your Instagram or Twitter or whatever the fuck, JSabs. You just let me know. Put it in the chat if you want it out there. So big happy birthday to JSabs. I mean, my God, she puts up with me and Frank. That's not easy. She definitely wants a split from us. That's for sure. But I get that. We're annoying. We're idiots. So if you want to write, she's like, I need more happy birthdays. I need more. I just need more. Daj Money. Is that DJ Daj Money? I don't even get it. Is that on Instagram? I think it's on Instagram. If everybody wants to send Janine a nice message, a nice happy birthday message. I'll tell you, what Janine loves? Pictures of feet, penises, moist vaginas, moist anything, cookies, dunk cookies in milk. Send a picture of that to her. She loves that shit. She loves that kind of shit. Submersibles. Send her pictures of submersibles. These are all of JSab's favorite things that she will love you forever for. Somebody said, forgive me, I don't know who, but before the pre-show, homeless men. No, she really loves homeless men. That old men, yeah, all that stuff. Definitely. See, oh yay, cookies and milk. She just put that in the chat. She loves cookies and milk. Loves them. Somebody said they're not covering the Trump thing. I feel like we're a day late on it. That's why we didn't make it a big deal. I mean, it's third indictment for Trump. There you go. Diane Pavin. I also got third indictment for Kaba B-Day. I don't know what Kaba is. But yes, third indictment, trifecta, triple crown of indictments. That's President Trump. He's got another one. I think he goes tomorrow. So that'll be a big thing for everybody covering the news tomorrow. Everybody says this is a bad one. I put a tweet out. I put an Instagram out. We're on Twitter and Instagram. You can get links to all our stuff at anthonyonair.com. All our socials are up there. I don't know what our socials are where. But I put a thing out on Instagram and I put it on Twitter too. I got a lot more traction on the gram, which was my statement was yesterday when this is all coming down on Trumpski was does everybody agree with the statement that if Ron DeSantis condemned Trump for what he did on January 6th and distanced himself from Trump, and said that was bad and he deserves to be indicted, and we believe in the rule of law we believe in. If DeSantis said that yesterday, don't you think that would help him gain some popularity, i.e. win the election? Because that was my feeling when it was all coming down yesterday. I thought to myself, if I was a political strategist with the DeSantis camp, first of all, I would say, what happened to me? Where did I go wrong? Then I would say, I think you should distance yourself from Trump. I think you should say what Trump did was bad and condemn him and say you believe that, after an investigation and a grand jury of his peers, he should, that's the thing. And people go, oh, they weaponize the FBI. They do that. I'm sorry, but it's what our country is built on. They put it in front of a grand jury, and the grand jury decided it was worthy of an indictment. Like average, normal, everyday citizens got together in Georgia and said, yes, there should be an indictment here, right? So, I understand I know why there's an argument for the whole weaponization of the DOJ and FBI and all that, but at the end of the day, you still have to go to the grand jury process. And if you're going to say that that's fixed too, then you just don't believe in America. I mean, you just don't believe in the country, you just don't, because it's our system. It's the best thing that we've have. It's all we could come up with. But anyway, if I was a strategist, I would be like, hey, you can't love Trump as DeSantis. That's your opponent. You have to win. You're supposed to beat that person. I would be like, say that guy sucks. Because here's the thing. Right now, Trump's numbers have never been higher. He has never had a bigger approval rating amongst voting Republicans. They are all for him. He is not lying, Trump, when he says he is murdering DeSantis in the polls. He is murdering DeSantis in the polls. I mean, it ain't even close. If you took everybody else out of the race, the fat guy from Jersey and all the other people, I can't remember who they are. If you took them all out of the race and gave DeSantis all the points that they have, he would still be losing by 30 points. I mean, you're not even close. It's time to start throwing Hail Marys if you're Ron DeSantis. We touched this on this last episode. He's firing staff members. They're running out of money. You got to fundraise. But here's the thing. You've squeezed the right-wing Republican thing, and there's no more juice left. You've got to go to the middle if you want to win. And by the way, saying that you're for the rule of law, saying that you're for justice, these are, under normal circumstances, typical conservative views. So it's not even like you're straying from what your party is. You're straying from what your party has become under Trump, but you're talking about typical conservative values of, hey, let the law of the land rule this case and decide. There's nothing wrong with that as a Republican. I just thought DeSantis had a chance to be like, fuck that guy. He should go through the process, let a jury hear the case and see if he's guilty. I think it's a great move. He clearly did wrong and blah, 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 whatever they decide to write for him. I think he would have seen a jump in the polls. I don't think he would have lost. I think, he's separated himself from Trump enough that he probably still could be a running mate of vice president, but probably not. I think Trump is going to pick the other guy, to be totally honest with you. Because the sanctimonious and all, it's too much. Politicians are scumbags. They always put it together and figure out a way to pick a running mate and win and go through the whole thing. So yeah, but I just think it's a smidge too much. I think he's going to pick another candidate. You're at the point now where you gotta start taking bigger shots if you're DeSantis. I thought that would have been a great time to be like, fuck that guy. He should go, he should, serve his time and all that shit. So I put that statement out on the gram, and I was surprised at how many people were like, no, Trump didn't do anything wrong. Like all this stuff. I was genuinely surprised to see some of that. I didn't really, I didn't think I thought I would get more like, you know what? Yeah, that would be probably now would be the time for DeSantis. But the amount of people that were like, Trump didn't do anything wrong and he has nothing to be, first of all, it wasn't really my question. Second of all, I respect your opinion. It's fine with me. I don't give a shit if you think he didn't do anything wrong. I honestly couldn't tell you how much I could not care less about it. But now I can't find any of the fucking answers. Why do these stories go away after 24 hours? Can't we get a couple of days with these fucking things? I know these answers go somewhere else, but I'll be damned if I can find it now. Oh, anyway, it's not the fucking point. I was surprised. I thought that was a clear sign for DeSantis to step up and say something, and he didn't say shit. He's gonna just fall off into nothingness. Like nobody's gonna give a shit about him or remember. He's gonna get murdered. He's so fucking consumed with Walt Disney World and fucking trans people and fucking the books in the school. You got to get off that shit. Nobody gives a fuck, man. Honestly, you've got to win the middle if you're going to win this fucking race. You got to win the middle if you're going to win the Republican Party. There are plenty of Republicans that are like, not that guy. Trump's got like 63% of the vote. There's still 47% out there. And you could build off of that. You can't fucking build off of 19%. I mean, that's just pitiful. It's pitifully low. So I didn't want to do a lot on this, but I also felt like it was, it's a huge story. It was a big story yesterday. Outside of my DeSantis angle, there wasn't much new I can contribute to it. A lot of legal experts are saying, right and left, that this one's bad, like the last one. The first one, not so much, but this one's pretty bad. But you got to think, if you're looking at 3 of these things, is he going to get out from under all of them and win this election? Again, I'm a gambling guy, and if you have 1 barrier to overcome, okay, fine. 2, that'd be kind of a miracle. 3, I just don't know about. Just from an odd standpoint, the fact that you can fight and win and beat 3, that would be, and win an election, that would be pretty remarkable. I mean, that would be pretty friggin' remarkable, to be totally honest with you. All right, that's it. I've run out of steam. I love you all. I love the solo shows. I obviously love doing it with Cuddles. I love doing it with JSabs. I loved seeing Aaron and Cuddles do the episode. That was amazing. I love doing it with Frank. But again, I like to get down with you guys, It would show he has balls and get more respect from voters. Thank you, Diane. That's what I'm talking about. Like, the guy, he has got to, you can't just be like, aren't trans people terrible? Yeah. You got to get it past these things. Fuck Mickey Mouse. You got to go past some shit. You got to go past some shit. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I know Disney's going through a struggle time right now, but everybody's got some fucking, everybody kind of loves Disney. I know people are going to be like, oh, do you go woke, go broke? But even those people have a fucking Mickey Mouse shirt in their goddamn house. I mean, everybody has everybody's a Disney person. Some people are crazy, nuts Disney people. Other people, not so much. But it's still a kind of thing. Let that shit go, dude. Shit's over. Time has passed. You got to start talking about what you're going to do for the country. And not keep just appealing to your little base, because it doesn't work. And I get it. It's scary to be like, getting out of your comfort zone. It's scary, but you got to do it if you're going to win. Robin, wait till Pence testifies. Yeah, there's going to be some fireworks to this one. Well, because isn't it in this one too that they're going after Giuliani too? It's like all the co-conspirators. I think that's all kind of part of it, So, I mean, there's a lot there. Condolences over to Sybil, who lost her mom on Sunday. That sucks. And I'm glad, but AOA always brings me a laugh and brings me joy. Well, that means the world to me and the whole crew here, Sybil. Thank you so much for that. If you think we did something for you, you just did something tremendous for us. That's a really big, big compliment. I can't thank you enough for that. Terrible to lose a parent. Heartbreaking. I gotta be honest with you. I not look. I still got both my parents, and I think about that from time to time. It feels like the worst thing ever. We lost my father-in-law a number of years ago. I still haven't gotten over that. I can't tell Cuddles though, because she was clearly heartbroken. So I got to be like strong and everything. But I was fucking devastated. I was pretty devastated about it. It's a tough thing. That's a tough thing to go through. In fact, I'd love everybody to show Sybil some support. Let's forget about JSabs. Fuck her and her selfishness and her birthday and all her bullshit. Don't even worry about writing her. Let's all write a nice thing to Sybil on YouTube's to help her get through this tough time. That's really where we need to concentrate our energy. JSabs has enough. I mean, I've had enough of it already. It's been we're only on day 1 of a 45-day birthday, and I can't take it already. So let's spread some love for Sybil. Thank you, Sybil, for being kind to us back. I appreciate that. Victoria, I appreciate the kind words there. Thanks for saying that. And that's it for us. We're going to hop out. Weird being back in the studio. I got to be honest with you. I was tempted again to go back outside. I was loving it out there, outside of the mosquitoes and everything else. I've been scratching my legs for the last 48 hours. But I did like getting out of the old studio here and doing something different. So maybe we'll do that again before the summer comes to a close. I think that'll be nice. See a lot of love in the live chat for Sybil. You guys are the best. So kind. Our little AOA crew here, you AOA holes are just wonderful people. I got to tell you, you are absolutely the best. I appreciate all of you. Sybil, our heart is with you. JSabs, go fuck yourself. That's it. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Appreciate everything. Make sure you share and like the video on YouTube. Don't forget to do so on Facebook if you're on there and watching on there. If you're on Spotify, rate and review. That always helps us out in a major way. Same thing with Apple Podcasts. We're basically everywhere else you get podcasts. So if you can, do whatever you can to help us spread the word on the old show here. Until Friday, love you all. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go now. Go ahead.